that.
So let's get into some of the more. We'll go. Let's see. Oh, we'll do bear versus man. Would you rather be stuck in the forest with a random bear? No, actually, hold on. Would you rather come across a random man or a random bear in the forest? And so the scenario is you get dropped into the forest randomly, and you can choose either a random man gets dropped in the forest with you or a random bear. You will cross paths. Which do you pick?
A bear.
A man?
Realistically, a man.
A man.
Why, man?
A man.
A bear.
A man?
Why bear?
Because why is a guy in the forest? Like, that's creepy.
Well,
No,
no,
you get randomly, like you randomly spawn in the forest.
You randomly
There's
spawn.
like no reason for,
Hunger Games.
because it's also like, why are you
Why,
in the forest?
but wait, hang on, I gotta back up though.
I feel like.
Why would it be creepy for a man to be in the fucking forest? Why is that creepy?
Well, like, it
Like,
depends.
what would actually make it creepy that a man was in the forest?
Well, movies,
What?
like, have you not watched the movies where, like, you know, the killers are in the forest and then they're running through the forest and then that's
Have you not watched the movies where the killers are in the cities? Have you not watched the movies where
Yes,
the
I
killers
have.
are in the
Yes, I
foothills? Have you
have.
not watched the movies where the killers are in the mountains? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, honestly, for me, well, whatever. I think bears are cute, so I want a bear. Well, yeah, it
What?
could kill me, honestly. It could kill me. I guess.
It's not a teddy bear. You realize this is not a teddy bear that you like hug and snuggle with. It's a grizzly bear or a bear like that that will rip your face off, right?
But is
I
it
mean,
like
you
just
recognize
chilling
that.
there, or is it like is it like aggressive?
It's just a random bear. Like, look here.
Okay,
Let me give
so
you
then
an
I
example.
choose the bear. I could hide
If
it.
you walked over to a random man in the street, just a random guy, just
I wouldn't
anybody,
do that.
right? And you walked over to him and you patted him on the head. And he turned around, right, and said, "What the hell are you doing?" Do you think that he would physically assault you, just a random guy that you patted on the head? Do you think he would physically do something bad to you?
No.
If you walked over and
If he
patted
was
a
psycho,
random
yes.
bear on the head, if you walked over and patted a random bear on the head, what do you think would happen?
You're asking super logical questions. But obviously the bear would kill
I
me,
know,
right?
super logical, I know. I know that is the bane of the existence of many people. Yes, it is super logical. What would happen if you patted a random bear on the head?
It probably would claw my face out. It will
Yeah.
claw my face out.
Yeah.
Why do you pick bear?
Well, you didn't give me any details of how long I'm there, but a bear's not gonna rape me. I'd rather die from a bear mauling me than a man raping
Sure.
me.
Okay, so let's go into that a little bit. So you've done
By the way,
risk-
can you say SA instead of
Oh,
the?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No, yeah, my bad.
So you must have made some sort of risk assessment where the risk of being essayed by a man you feel is outweighs the risk of potential attack from the bear.
A bear's in its natural habitat. Like, if you're not messing with it, it's probably most likely just gonna wander off. A man stuck in a forest with you is gonna come to his, like, what does he want, you know? You don't know how stuck we are in the forest.
Sure. So then I guess the question is, what percentage of men then do you think would be inclined to victimize you?
I don't know, but you said a random man, and there was men that got lost in a forest and essayed a lizard. So
What? How do you essay?
Hail and well met.
What the
Lol Paladins donated $100 and 2 cents.
come in, bro.
Missed the last 3 hours of the show. Very disappointed
well
to
met,
learn
lizard.
Mahati does actually speak English. Much like every other female guest
Disappointed.
ever, the more they open their mouth, the less I
Damn.
like them.
You're disappointed to learn she speaks
Well,
English.
she's been okay.
Yeah, she's
Like,
been
what-
she's been good.
Yeah, she
She's
hasn't
been
really
based.
said. You're out of line here, little paladin.
Out of
she
line.
hasn't really said anything.
Out of line.
She hasn't said anything that's strange.
Get
or-
out of here. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lil Thank you, Lil Pal. So men essay lizards?
there's like a
How do you
article-
even
an article on that?
what kind
Well,
of lizard?
It was like a big lizard. It's on, like, you could look up the article.
Wait, they were like
It
they
was like
were
a
in
group
the
of men
forest?
went
Was this in
camping.
the U.S.?
I don't know.
And they fucked a lizard.
They were camping and they got lost and they found a lizard and they all, like,
They tag teamed a lizard. There's no. Let me Google this shit.
Do they
Nick, get on that pronto tonto. Tag team lizard. I'm gonna get on a list for that one.
Get up, Jamie.
They eventually, I think, ate it.
Men have. I don't even know how to Google this without getting on like an FBI list. Men have sex with lizard. Oh my god, bro, this is gonna get me in trouble.
stranded.
No, don't Google it that way.
Yeah, it was like
It's for research purposes,
it was like
bro.
men
It's-
stranded.
Men have
Men
intercourse.
attack.
Okay, so what are the details around this that you can tell us?
Was it a monitor
Yeah, that
lizard
one.
abuse?
It was that.
4 men gang are the Vice article. This is actually an article. We can't even pull it up because it has the 4 men gang essayed, killed, and ate a protected monitor lizard. Sandeep. Oh, I shouldn't say their names because I'll get in trouble. India, son. I don't know about how India works, bruv. But yes, it was in India.
Okay.
Isn't that like bestiality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But they were
Damn,
like
bro.
stranded, like in a forest or something.
Why did it just do
They
each
got.
other?
Can someone?
That's
Yo,
exactly
whoa, whoa.
like.
Yeah, like their
I gotta give you
hands.
some qualifiers
I was
here.
not doing a Roman salute, by the way. I was just trying to. Hold on.
I gotta give you the qualifiers. Okay. I have never seen a crime like this, Division Forest Officer Vishal Mali told Vice News. The men are in their 20s or 30s and appear to have done it for fun. There was no religious or black magic agenda. Never seen a crime like this, meaning it's so uncommon and so out there that it essentially never happens. Just want to point this out.
Can someone like do an AI generation of like a lizard, like kind of looking like a little sexy, you know,
Gecko.
like a gecko, like kind of like looking like kind of hot. You
But
know?
that lizard looks like those big ones.
It's like the one from Jesse.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's a
Mrs.
giant
Kipling.
monitor lizard. Yeah, they're
Mrs.
big.
Kipling.
They're not a little like gecko. They're like those big dragons.
So okay.
They're like this long.
So what percentage of men do you think would essay?
I definitely don't think if I was stranded in the forest with a random man that he would protect me the whole time we're stranded there.
Okay.
What do you think he would do?
How about wait, hold on. I want to actually get an answer to the question.
What was the question?
What percentage of men do you think would choose to attack you in this scenario? Because it's like random men, right? So
Probably like 80% of men.
80.
Like if you think about how long am I stranded in this forest with him?
I think you're overthinking.
Let's say you're stranded there for 2 years. Just say you're stranded there for 2 years with him.
Unless it was that guy that was celibate for 17 years.
You think 8 in 10 men, 8 in 10 men
Yeah, men are scary.
would essay you, 8 in 10.
Men are scary.
Oh, well, okay.
Hillary Epstein donated $99. Bye-bye, it's bedtime. LOL.
Bye.
Thank you for that, Hillary Epstein. Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful night. 80%. What's the population? Population of adult males USA.
About, I think, roughly 140 million.
So do you think?
Okay, let's just say out of 10 men, like 8 of them, I'm pretty sure if you were to just spawn them in the middle of the forest, like you're saying, like 8 out of those 10 men would probably,
Would essay a woman
yeah,
or murder them?
yeah.
So, your family members and the male family members of your boyfriend, they also, so 8 out of 10 of your male family members would do this too?
Unfortunately,
Giovanni JD donated
Yeah, I'd probably see that
$100. I love the girl on the right's reaction to the lizard sex, but they were desperate in the wild.
The thick girl on the right's reaction to the lizard sex, but they were desperate for that lizard.
So 8 in 10 of the men in your family would essay women in the forest, if they could.
I can think of a handful of men in my family that
No,
unfortunately
that's not what we
are
asked.
disgusting.
8 in 10. 8 in 10. You said 80%. That's 8 in 10.
I don't
That means
know
out
more
of
than
all, so think of 10 males in your family, 10. 8 of them are going to SA a chick in the forest.
I don't know more than like 5 men in my family.
Okay, well, let's just take 5 then. 4 and 5. 4 out of the 5 men that you do know in your family are going to SA a chick in the forest.
Yeah.
So this would include
I could think
so
of-
your
I
father.
could top-
Would that include your father?
No, he passed away, so I'm not counting him. He's not alive.
Wait,
Okay,
so how
but
about
you
this?
can envision him, right?
Yeah.
Would he do it?
No.
How about this framing?
Okay, brother,
No.
cousin.
Yeah.
How many cousins are you envisioning? 5?
No. 2.
Okay, so there we have it. So where do the other 3 come from?
Uncle, grandfather, great grandfather.
So your great grandfather, your grandfather, your uncle, and your 2 cousins are all going to SA a chick if they're in the forest. Really?
I could see that possibly happening.
Oh, are they or aren't they?
Yeah. Depending
Yeah,
on the
they are.
circumstances, I could possibly see that happening.
So if
Your
you,
so I just want to make sure your grandfather is a artist. He's
I
a,
said
he's a
great-grandpa.
Your
I said
grandfather.
great-grandfather.
Yeah, well, no, you said your great grandfather and
and I
your
corrected
grandfather.
myself, great grandfather.
Yeah, okay, you said your great grandfather and your grandfather.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't have a grandpa. I have a great grandpa, but I just
No, I'm pretty sure it's biologically impossible for you to not have a
I
grandpa.
don't know my grandpa.
Okay, so your 2 cousins for sure they're going to R-word a chick in the forest no matter what.
Melonova
Yeah, I can see
donated $100. Andrew, good faith question. If a man told his wife to kiss the ground literally every step he took through the house, would that be cool since she has to submit? Or is there a threshold? What is it?
quick response to
The
this, Andrew.
threshold has to comply with reason, so no, that would be unreasonable. I can actually express why that would be unreasonable. But anyway, back to this, this kind of back and forth here. I just want to make sure both of your cousins are R-wordists. They're both essayists. I just want to make sure that I hear it from you that you're 100% positive. They're definitely going to be against her will taking that chick in the forest, right?
Not against her will, but that doesn't.
Well, what do I hang on? Wait, how could it be?
'Cause there's
How could they be
also, like-
essaying her if it's not against her will?
Because there's like SA that isn't like the type you're referring to, where it's like you
Oh,
kind
like
of
what?
just make
What would
it
they do
happen.
that would essay her? What do you think they would do?
I'm pretty sure all of the girls here have been in uncomfortable situations where.
Yeah. So answer my question. I don't care about what you think other girls in the room have been through. What would they do to women in the forest? What would they do?
I'm just gonna stand by that. I think 8 out of 10 men would do that.
Yeah, I don't care what you're going to stand by. What would they do? You just said that they would essay
What
women
would you
in the
do if you were
forest. What
stuck
would
in
they
a
do?
forest with a woman that wasn't your wife?
Nothing.
Nothing. Survival.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, maybe like ask her to, I don't know, sharpen a stone. Like,
Okay, she didn't want to
gather
do. She didn't want to.
firewood.
She didn't want to do anything like that. Would you think about maybe?
I would
Okay, I
just
need to
abandon
eat.
her. If she refused to assist in her
Smallson
survival situation.
donated $200. A woman right now on X is trending. She has a mold of her husband's Pierce's urn. Unfortunately, he passed this a cool idea for a man. Are these popular? Would you buy one for your husband's/B?
Hang on, I want to finish this real quick before we get into that. So
let's just have the
real-
girls here, really quick. Just show of hands. Would you be cool with this? Would you do it?
Do what?
Hail and well met.
Oh my God.
Lol Paladins
guess
donated
that's a no. It's a no.
$100 and
No hand
2
raises.
cents.
Thank you, Lol
This
Paladins.
scamming prostitute is so messed up with her genetics. She herself would likely essay and take advantage of anyone she runs across that is weaker than herself.
I wasn't
Because
a-
that is what she already does.
I wasn't a prostitute. Let's just make that
Okay.
clear.
So I would, well, yes, I think stripping is prostitution, but I guess we can leave that for right now. I would like to dive into your question. Your question was, what would I do if I was with a woman in the forest? Well, I would try to reason with her and say, listen, if we're going to have the best shot, we need to work together to get out of here. And then after assessing the situation, I would probably give her some tasks to do. If she refused to do the tasks, then I would likely
can't stay
abandon her so that I could get out of the fucking
All right.
forest.
It's past your.
Yep.
Or you could just stay for the rest of the show?
Do you need to go get some Ensure?
Yes, I do. It is past my bedtime.
These old hags gotta
Yeah.
get going.
You said 10.
We're not going to go
I
for
gotta
too much
wheel away on
longer.
my wheelchair right now.
Not going to go for too much longer here, guys. Let's just finish the show.
I have a question on this. So, do you want to have kids?
I have one, but yeah, I want to have more.
Is your kid a boy or a girl?
That's a girl.
Now, do you want to have more kids?
Yeah,
It's possible you'll have 1, 2. How many more kids do you want?
like 2 more.
2 more kids. So if they're both sons, you're willing to say that under your roof of raising them, they have an 80% chance of becoming.
No.
What makes you
Because-
stand apart from all the other women who are raising men
There's
to
a-
become 80% chance of being grapists, but what percent chance? If you had to put a number to it, what percent chance will your sons be grapists?
I would
50-50,
raise
or-
them with like real core values in like a Christian household.
But I thought it seems like you're making the argument that this is just something that's innate in men. They are inclined to essay women. They're
Yeah, if you had
inclined to
10
be
sons,
violent.
you're saying that 10 of them are going to be grapists, by the way. 10. Or I'm sorry, if you had 10 sons, you're saying 8 would be grapists. If it's 80%, 10. Sorry, I mean 8 out of the 10.
I mean, this
Hypothetical.
It would be hypothetical.
Yeah, this hypothetical. I mean, you're not really giving any like anything except the fact that you're spawning us randomly in a forest,
Nope, we are giving you
and
something.
it's a random man. Yeah, I would rather
Nope,
pick
that's
a
incorrect. We
bear
are giving
over-
you something. We asked you, how many men do you think in that situation would do this type of thing? You said 80%.
But this was
based on
after
that.
I
Based on that, we
stated
can
that.
extrapolate. If it's 80%, that would encompass all men. If that is true, that all men at the level of 80% would essay a chick in the forest, then that would mean that 8 out of the 10 of the children you could potentially have would be rapists if they were men.
I'm just going based off of the original question, which was a bear or a man. Which I would think.
Yeah,
okay,
but
maybe
you
not
had
like
reasoning
80%.
for why you chose a bear.
Yeah, I would just
And your
feel
reasoning was
safer
because you
with a
said
bear that's in its
80% of
natural
men,
habitat.
80% of men grape. That was your reasoning. If that is true, then you're admitting
I'm
that
also
8 out of 10
thinking
of the
in, like, a
men in your
secular
household are rapists.
men. I'm also thinking of like secular men because that's kind of like the headspace I'm in right now in this podcast area, studio questions.
Why? You said 80% of all men.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of secular men.
Well,
What? Okay, so how many Christian men?
Probably less than.
50%?
How much less than?
Less than, probably like
50%?
less.
40?
Like
30?
out
20?
of 10, possibly 1 or 2. Possibly.
Well, okay, so 20%. I just want to let you know, okay, that the staggering rate that you put at 80%, the deviation between men who self-identify as being Christian who grape and secular is not very wide.
I'm
It's not
talking
very
like a
wide.
true,
I mean,
not someone
as
that
to be a
identifies as.
statistical anomaly, it's that close. In other words, your chances of, if you're a Christian going up of you graping versus being secular, it's not very wide.
Again, I was going out of the context of me thinking about 80% of men that I encounter on a like daily basis, which most of them are secular.
Have you been essayed by 80% of the men that you've encountered?
I've been verbally like sexually harassed, yeah.
By 80% of men. 80%.
If I go outside, yes. That's
So-
why I personally didn't want to come here by myself. My boyfriend's outside, like.
But so
I don't
even
like leaving my house alone.
even if I grant, okay, so even if we consider catcalling within this, 80% of men catcall you? 80%?
It's not just catcalling, like verbally. It's
Okay,
the looks.
here.
It's the
80%.
Innuendos.
Okay. So hold on. Catcalling and then like everything worse than catcalling. 80% of men do that.
less now that I only go outside with my boyfriend, yeah. But when I go outside alone, yeah.
It's 80% of men.
Yeah, when I would go out
So
to
if
LA.
you go out, so just like going to Trader Joe's, 80% of the dudes, yo, what's up?
I've literally been in the Starbucks line and gotten catcalled from
Sure.
like outside. No, like in the drive-through.
Was it 80% of the men in the Starbucks?
It was in the parking lot. That's
Was it?
like
No. Fine. Yes, it happened. One guy at Starbucks said that. Was it 80% of the men? You need to be consistent here.
it's just like the fact that like from my view, yes,
Sure, it happens.
80% of men are dogs in
80%
the
of
secular
men.
world. Yes.
So, but 80% of the men that you see at Trader Joe's, Starbucks, wherever, they're catcalling you or worse.
Yeah, worse because I feel like looks are the same as catcalling.
A guy looking at you is a guy
It's
who
not just
looks
like
at you.
looking. It's like the sexual innuendos they're making while looking at me.
Okay, so
Okay, hang on. I'm not even willing to entertain this. If a man is looking at you in a way that you consider to be lustful, is that sexual assault?
It's sexual harassment.
How's that sexual
Because
harassment?
if you're publicly willing to make those type of gestures to a woman in public, like
No,
what
what,
would
what
you
type
do
of
if there
gesture?
weren't
He's
people around?
looking at you.
I don't want to make the gestures on camera.
dude,
No, that's not my question. My question is if he looked at you, just looked at you in a way that you thought was lustful, is that sexual assault?
It's harassment.
Is it assault?
Okay, no, it's not physical assault.
Okay, so then when you say SA, we're talking about sexual assault, you say that you think that 80% of secular men would sexually assault you. We're not talking about them looking at you in some whatever bizarre way you think that means that they want to sleep with you, because that could mean anything, and women are often delusional and overestimate how good they look, as you can clearly see from this panel. So the thing is, I just wonder, right, from the SA perspective, do you honestly think that 80%, 8 out of 10 men, if they were trapped in a forest with you, would SA you?
Did we not just get down to 20%?
No, we didn't. I said secular men, not
Oh.
Christians.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 men, I feel like would do that, and not just to me, to like if it's their type of person. Yeah.
Do you realize that if you were to even take 20% of the men of the United States, I'm not even sure what percentage of that would even be capable of sexual activity. You're talking about men who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. There's only so many men who are even fit to do this. The age bracket that you're talking
Okay, so
about,
for-
probably that you're envisioning somewhere between like 16 and 40. 8 out of 10 men doesn't even come close to encompassing this.
That's what
Like,
I'm picturing.
how could you even come up with this as a rationale?
Because you said random man, so I'm thinking
Yeah, random.
logically like the man I picture, right? The random
So
man
you
I'm
have
picturing.
100% of the entire pool, which is going to include everybody from every age bracket who's a man, 18 plus. 80%. You're including 100-year-olds, 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds.
I like
And
that you get to put a like box around what it is and like the amount of men, the ages, and all of these different brackets. But when I'm clearly telling you like this is what I think, I can't do that. Because I'm saying, yeah,
That doesn't
obviously
even make sense. What you
Honestly-
just said doesn't make sense. I'm giving you clear criteria.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you get to
100%
take
of men
the
are
criteria
all
out.
men, right?
Obviously,
If
men who
100%
are
of men are all
sexually
men-
capable of doing that.
Yeah, there's only going to be X amount of men who are even capable of doing that. Literally, not even 8 out of 10 men could be capable of doing that. It's not. I don't even think it's possible for them to even be capable of doing that.
Andrew, just grant that they're capable.
Yeah, okay. I guess we will for the sake of argument, but
Look,
it's
it's an
such
adult-
it's so
Here.
illogical. It's hard for me to even grant it.
Let's even grant, look, they're 18 to 50-year-old able-bodied men. Let's just grant that. What percentage
Okay.
of those men do you think, is it 80% still?
specifically me, I don't know, like probably like 40.
What? You said 80.
Yeah, I was going based off like if I'm just being like a woman, would I rather pick a bear or a man? I think it would be safer for a woman just to be with a bear than a man.
Okay, but so sure. You said 80%, but now you're saying 40%.
Because he's making it very specific to like me. I just
To you.
Yes. If I were to be spawned in the middle of a forest, I would rather just pick a bear.
No, okay, but how did you jump from 80% to 40%?
Because if he wants to like, he was taking his criteria like out. So it's like, yeah, like you also are trying to like say, oh, well, if these men are like 80, they're not being able to do this and that. And it's like, okay, well, you want to make it so like small of, I'm taking out Christian men, I'm taking out men that have value, like secular men, right?
Okay, here, the way I framed it was able-bodied men between the ages of 18 to 50.
Yeah, so I'm adding
including
exactly now
Christian
I'm adding
men.
it in to the Christian men being in this. That's why it goes down.
Okay, let's take out the Christian men then.
Then you have the same answer.
Okay, 80%. Okay. So then you're willing to...
So 80% of atheists are rapists. 80% of atheists in your worldview, you honestly believe that 80% of
But it's
atheists
not like-
are going to SA a random woman in the forest if they had the opportunity? I just want to make sure I got this clear.
Yes, if the opportunity is there, you don't know what people are capable of.
No, I think I do know very well what people are capable of.
If everything
But
were-
I also understand when people aren't capable of logic. That's how I know that I know what people are capable of.
Can I ask you, how many men do you think would be saying women if like the whole world kind of just shut down and there's no law, there's no nothing, it's just like a hierarchy?
Less than 1%. Far less than 1%. I wouldn't even say 0.5%. And you have to understand the inert safeguards. You have a father, right?
He passed.
Okay, but you did have him.
Somewhat.
Do you agree that most fathers don't SA their daughters? Most
Yeah,
fathers
most.
don't SA their daughters, right?
Yeah, most.
Yeah, okay, but they have all the opportunity to do so, but they don't.
But when you have a genetic bond to someone, you're less likely to
No,
do
even
that.
with stepdaughters, they don't. Most do not. The overwhelming vast majority do not. And they're not genetically related then. But they could. The opportunity is there, but they don't. Men are not so predatory as you're making them out to be, not even close. It's actually absurd that you would even believe that. Why would you believe you have brothers, all sorts of men who have been in and out of your life, to think that 8 and 10 of them would just grape a random woman if they were in a forest with them? That is.
Because I've seen more
that's a
times than not when
significant
men
allegation.
have the opportunity, they take it
What opportunity to do what?
to SA someone. I've
You-
seen it more times than not that when men have that opportunity, they will take it.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a woman rub a man or put her hands on a man even though he hasn't actually given any verbal consent to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that SA?
No.
It's only SA when a man does it, right?
I'm talking about like full on SA.
Okay, so you're talking about like full penetrative sex, right?
Yeah.
Against your will. Okay. So if this is the case, then you would have to say that 8 and 10 of your family members, 8 and 10 of my male family members, of Brian's male family members, of all the women who are sitting here, 8 and 10 of their male family members would grape a random woman in the forest if they could. Does that even sound reasonable to you?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. It's a little out there, right?
I actually just want to hear this. So you said 80% of men, so this would amount to about 110 million men. are essentially rapists.
Is this just like in America?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, in the U.S. The male population of the United States, are you confident and prepared to state that 110 million men in the United States are inclined to SA women?
With the growing climate of society, probably like that in like 10 years, 15.
Wait, what do you mean? Growing climate of society?
Like, just the way I think that kids are going right now, like it's more, I could see that happening if society stays the way it is and gets worse.
So wait, you think
Now are more inclined to violence in schools more than they were when I was like in high school, middle school. And I actually...
the violence rates have gone down across the board? In fact, inside the United States, especially since the 60s and 70s, violent crime has drastically
Not
been
violent
reduced.
crime. I'm talking about like kids' violent behaviors in school settings.
Okay, here,
You
just
mean crimes? Those are crimes. Yeah, and they're recorded crimes, right? In fact, I would say inside of a school that those are the most recorded crimes. If violence happens in a school, it's the most reported type of crime, probably.
Well, actually, teachers have less...
okay. No. I'm sorry. I got to bring it back. All I simply want is
No.
know what?
No, to what your question is.
Oh, well,
You
I'll
haven't
ask it
even
again
heard
just
the
to be
question.
clear.
How can you say no?
Okay.
Because he's asking about
Yes,
the 100
okay, well,
million.
yes.
Over-
Yes, to whatever your question. I mean, that's just absurd.
Because he's asking
You-
about the 100 million men in America.
You said
No.
80%. It's pure math.
Okay, I just said no.
So how can your statement of 80% be correct?
So it wasn't.
What?
It wasn't. I was
All right,
going
that's
based
fair,
off
that's
of like
fair,
a very
that's fair.
quick
You can revise it.
answer.
Hang on, you can revise it, that's fair.
Okay,
What would
what's
you
the
revise
revised?
it to?
What's the revised
I've already,
percentage?
like...
40%?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Like
40%.
20?
40% of, say, 140 million men is... Oh, sorry, frick.
And are you
56 million men.
Are you still doing like the age brackets or no?
Just all, it's...
Just all men.
So 40% of 140 million men is 56 million men. Are you prepared to say that 56 million men who live in the United States are inclined to this level of criminality?
I would like to hope not, but at the same time, like, I feel like it's possible.
Can I ask a question? Okay. So
ahead.
like, you know how you said that a guy would like essay you if given the chance?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you said you did like the stripper thing. You gave them the chance to, did they? Without your consent?
Well, I mean, you're there in a bikini, so they take that as given the chance.
That's why. But did they take that chance?
I didn't let them, but you know,
Then?
I got physically pushed into walls because I didn't let them. I got pushed, pulled, like.
But would you
yelled
say
at.
you put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I put myself in. that
Melonova
situation because of
donated
that.
$100. Oh my god. This chick is so deluded. You walk through a grocery store and 4 out of 5 men catcall you? Megan fucking Fox would get catcalled by 10% of men. You just fucking hate men.
Actually, I'm going to have to agree with Melanova here. It is impossible. I think that it could never be demonstrated in a million years. I think we could run the experiment 80,000 times plus of putting you in a random grocery store, and there's no possible way 8 out of 10 men even acknowledge that you exist. I don't think that 2 out of 10 men would even acknowledge that you exist as you're walking through a grocery store. I don't even think 2 out of 10 would. In fact, I'll do one better. I will literally, anywhere in the United States, and the Crucible will fund this, take you to any grocery store that you pick. And if 2 out of 10 men catcall you, I'll give you $1,000. You want to take that bet?
I don't need $1,000 that bad.
Okay?
Actually,
$10,000. We'll do $10,000. You think 2 out of 10 men in any grocery store that I take you to in the United States are going to catcall you? Just 2 out of 10.
Not catcall, but look at, yes.
Okay, you want to take the bet?
Sure.
Okay, so then if you lose, I get 10 grand.
Old man Marine donated
said if
$100.
that happened that you would give
If
me
I
10
essayed
grand.
you in the forest, I would also have to unalive you, probably burn your body and hide the remains. If I saved you, I would be a hero. This is the logic men would come to in that situation.
well put, old man Marine. And I'll add on. So we used to, like on the whatever channel, we used to do these hidden camera videos. We'll film this experiment, hidden camera,
And I'll put up I'll put up the cash. The Crucible will put up the cash. If you go to any random grocery store right there in Santa Barbara, you can pick.
I don't know
Okay?
anything
If
about
2 out of 10 men in that grocery store catcall you, we'll put up the 10 grand. And Brian will have it all on film.
Does it have to be in Santa Barbara? I don't want to drive out here again.
I mean, even on the street, like, even if you were on the street, I can't imagine it would be as high as you claim it would be. But
Okay.
I just think, honestly, it's just like the amount of bias that people have towards men is kind of crazy. Do you hate men?
No.
But you think 80% of them are rapists. Do you hate rapists?
Oh, yeah.
Do you hate people who are inclined to be rapists?
Well, I would. What do you mean?
Would you hate a man, let's say he hasn't committed the crime, but if given the opportunity, he would. And if 80% of those are like, right?
Is the crime only being
Okay,
SA?
do you hate rapists?
Yeah.
Do you hate men who would be inclined to be rapists?
If they haven't committed the crime,
They
then
haven't
no.
done it, but if given the opportunity, they would. Would you hate them? Or do you hate men that would be inclined to do it? This is actually a total checkmate.
If a man is inclined to rape a woman, if he had the opportunity. Oh, sorry.
Would you hate that man?
Well, yeah.
You would hate somebody who's inclined to do such a thing, right?
If they
Okay.
wanted to do that, if they had the opportunity.
And you think 80% of men are inclined to do that. So
in
you
that situation,
hate 80% of men.
I don't hate.
So you hate men,
80%.
essentially.
I don't hate men.
Yeah, well, you hate a majority of men.
Okay, but we also
You-
brought it down to like 40 and not.
No, but you said
80.
overall it's 80.
Okay, but we brought it down to 40.
But that was like if you only look at what Christian men. You
No, that was you putting the math of like how many men after you said it was. I don't know. You brought up the math for the 80%,
said. I don't know why
and then I dropped it down to 40.
I don't know why the number would matter.
Because I had to like realistically think of the number. I wasn't thinking of the number when I first gave the answer, obviously.
So 56 million, that's reasonable, but 100 and I don't know, 10 million, that's just no, it couldn't be 110, but 56 million, that's yeah. Look, just say you hate men.
I don't hate men though.
Well, you're kind of walking back your original position.
Which is.
If I hated 40% of women, would that mean that I hate women?
You know you hate 40% of women.
Would I not be a woman hater?
No, you hate 40%
What
of
if he?
women. What is
What
the
if he
40%
hated?
of women
Okay.
you
What if he
hate?
hated 99% of women? Would he hate women then?
I guess.
Does the percentage matter? I feel like if you hate even 1%, you hate women.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Because I hate specific men does not mean that I hate all men.
But if 80% of men fall into the category that you've made, then you.
But this is just all hypothetical, right? So hypothetically, sure, you want to like get your argument of I hate men. Sure, I hate men. I hate men so much.
I mean, you can be honest.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
I mean, wouldn't it be hateful to like have this?
I don't know. I gotta say, like, I'm just going to be real here. From your perspective, you thought 8 out of 10 men would grape you if
This
they
was
could.
this was like, obviously I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, I know, but hang on.
mathematically
Let me
here,
just
'cause
let me
you guys
just
wanted
finish.
to take it to like the
If I
logistics
thought
here.
that 8 out of 10 women, right, would rob me, 8 out of 10 women would rob me if they could, I think I would hate all women.
Okay.
I mean, that would be reasonable, right?
Okay. Well, I'll move it on from this, but I do think it is pretty objectionable to think that.
I think it would
This-
just be more sense for him to hate women that would rob him than saying he hates 80, like all women.
No, I just think it's kind of crazy that you have this pretty wild bias against men. Okay, one day you have sons. Do you think you would be happy for your sons to grow up in a world where all women think that there's an 80% chance that your sons SA them? Do you think that's a good world for men to live in?
They probably wouldn't be in an area of thinking that, or like around women that think that.
What do you mean?
That's
Their
more,
own mother does.
not. See, that's what I already said. I brought it back down to.
Okay, 40 is still objectionable, but okay. And I think you only brought it down because you were receiving so much pushback.
It was that I didn't realistically think of like the number I was saying. Obviously,
Are you sure you're even thinking about the new number that you're thinking about? 40%, 56 million?
I said originally like out of 10 men. Out of 10 random men, yeah, I'm sure that there are probably 4 random men that would do that.
Okay, I mean,
I just want to let you know that there's an 8 out of 10 chance that your boyfriend is going to be a rapist.
okay, well, I mean, I don't know where else to go
But
with this.
with your
argument.
revised number, that's actually better, though, right? Because then there's only a 4 out of 10 chance. By the way, I just want to let you know, like, I want you to think about this. Let's say I came to you with 10 M&Ms, okay? 10 M&Ms, and I'm going to explain to you how many of them are poisonous. If I were to tell you that 4 out of the 10 M&Ms were poisonous, what do you think your chances would be that you picked up one of those M&Ms and ate it and you died? It would be pretty terrifying, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch them.
Right, you wouldn't touch them, which is why we don't believe you, because I wouldn't think that you would touch men if you actually thought that 4 in 10 were rapists, let alone 8 in 10.